today I'm going to go over my new audiovisual instrument. It's called Mudra. It's a hand tracking audiovisual instrument that you can access for free. So if you go to mudra.nullmpeg.xyz, it selects your camera. Right now you can see we've got hand tracking coming up. So the first thing we want to do is we want to come over to camera here. We want to add the LUT so everything looks better, and maybe bump down the contrast a little bit, the brightness up a little bit. So here's the basic operation. A channel that is measuring the distance between my left thumb tip and my left index tip. You can see here the MIDI being output. To get this set up, we go to MIDI and request MIDI access. You want to allow this to mess with your MIDI. So now it's connected to MIDI. You want to select the IAC driver bus one. So whatever MIDI bus you want to use, you'll see all your MIDI buses in here. So if you're on Mac, audio MIDI setup, show MIDI Studio, and then you have the IAC driver here. If this isn't enabled, you have to enable it here. You can set how many buses you want, but you want to use one of these buses. On Windows, there's loop MIDI is going to be the easiest way to do this. So now I've got MIDI access. So we've got this channel, and we can see it's going out on MIDI channel 1, CC1. So if we go to Ableton, go to MIDI map, and say we want to map the frequency here, we just click on this, and we can see CC1 comes up. Turn MIDI map off. You can see this knob frequency is being controlled by this channel. I can change the labels of this. Let's say I want to call this filter. And then I'm going to call this like distortion. So you can see we've got the label. It says filter now. You can change the label size. And you can also change the line width, make really thick lines or really thin lines. I like to keep it somewhere around there. That's nice. And so let me show you some other options. So I didn't define any things with this second channel, so let me just define them. So we'll go left ring tip, and then we'll go right ring tip. And so if I put my hands up, you can see we've got filter on one, and then sort of weirdly my ring fingers connecting for the other. So that's how you make extra controls. There's up to 8 of them. And I'll show you some other options that we've got. We've got left hand open and closed. So you should have, there's a circle that comes up. So now the distortion is controlled by how open or closed my hand is. So we'll do like right palm rotation. So you can see the more I rotate, the more the value changes. So then next thing we want to go with, we'll add another one, and we'll do like maybe right wrist, starting to get all these things hooked up. So now I'm going to go and show you all our different visualizers. So we've got different hand visualizers. You can turn it off. So now there's no hand visualization going on. Then we can go, we've got these other ones. We'll start with corruption. So this is sort of like a distorted, glitchy kind of visualization for the hands. Then we've got HUD grid, which is sort of like a grid over both your hands. And then we've got orbital. This is the most like sci-fi-y crazy one. And you can see it responds. It also responds to rotation. You see that in a circle, just like rotating, depending. So it goes like it resizes based on the rotation. And then we've got the same thing for the control viz. There's only 2 of these, but they're sort of cool. So we've got HUD readout. So this one is one of my favorites because you get a little graph for each of the channels that you have, and you can see the control values that you're sending out, and you can see them change in real time. So that looks pretty cool. There's also arc reactor. So that makes every one of the controls into like an arc. Some of these like work better with others. So if you're doing arc, reactor, and orbital, I think that works really nicely. Maybe you combine HUD grid and HUD readout, you get a very techie kind of visualization. All right, so there are presets. So I'm going to call this demo 1. Save it. And now this is like one of our presets. And then I can go and change a bunch of stuff. We've got all of that, and then we can save that as a preset. I'm going to call this corruption. Save. And then I can load demo 1. We change it back to corruption. And we've got the same settings. Then the final function is triggers. So right now you can just draw in these triggers. So like maybe I'll draw one there, one there, one there, one there. Each one of these boxes sends a MIDI note out. Okay, and we want the distortion to be on our left hand open close. So this is the distortion channel. Channel 2. And this is a good opportunity to show you the MIDI map functionality here in Ableton. I want to map the drive of this distortion here. So if I go to MIDI map and I map that, you can see the CCs just change like crazy because I'm sending it through so many different MIDI CCs. You've got this MIDI map functionality. So if you hit map, then it's just going to send a sine wave on whatever channel you set to map, and it's going to mute all the other channels. So then you just go into here, and then say you want to hook that one up, you just hit that one. You can see we've got the right channel mapped. MIDI channel 2, we've got the drive mapping. Let me show you this all together. So we've got the filter there, and then we've got distortion here. And you know what's really cool is when you do the glitch. We'll just do a little bit of glitch. But so let me show you how to do it in TouchDesigner too. Okay, so here we are in TouchDesigner. So we got to go to our dialogues first, MIDI device mapper. And we go create new mapping in. Use the IAC driver that you selected when you were selecting the instrument. And if you're on PC, this will probably be, like loop MIDI or something like that. But this is all we need to do. You can see the control channels are coming in. You can see the note. You can see the note ons and the controls and the everything coming through nicely. So we quit off that. Then we jump in here. We need to put down MIDI in. That other note is off the screen, but All right. And honestly, mapping in here is a little easier because you see all the channels and you have to select them yourself. So we drop down 2 selects. We select, so we want to select the channel 1, control 2. So we just drop down here, channel 1, control 2. And then that is our filter coming in. And then if we go down to channel 2, control 3, that's the distortion. So now it might be cool to do some like different effects with this. So let's put in a video device in. So we have this displace weight here. Maybe just displace downwards. Okay, so that's going to be our distortion. So we're going to put in a math, do some mapping. And we're going to go range 1 to 127. To range, how much do we want to displace here? Like 0.5. Yeah, that looks good. 0 to 0.5. So then we put in a null because we're good programmers. So now, let me move this over here. The more I open my hand, the more messed up this image gets. So now we might also want to mess with the colors a bit. Now let's mess with this a little bit. Maybe somewhere in between there, just about that or something. And then we'll multiply. It's a little dark. Put in a level here. Something like that. That's cool. Then we'll just do like a crossfade. I mean, there are probably cooler ways to do this, but crossfade works too. And we're going to control this crossfade with our filter here. See what we want, like, say 0, 100. 0, 1. And we control crossfade. Nice. All right. So now we've got mostly normal color. We can make all the color crazy. And then we can make the distortion turn on. We can add the color crazy and the distortion. So that's looking good. But we want to have some changes happening on these MIDI notes. So I think we'll have different colors. So if we step through the seed here, you get sort of different color effects happening, right? So we're going to do a select. This can go up here. So from this MIDI in to this select, we're going to want now it just now it counts this value up every time one of the notes is hit. So we're going to have constant different changes for chords. So we just reference this to our seed. And then this is what we've got. Now to make this heaps fun, we're just going to spam the glitch meter. And there you go. So that's the kind of stuff that you can make. TouchDesigner and Mudra and putting it all together, you know? Okay, let's build a new instrument. So this is Beat Fader. It's sort of cool because it allows you to use a fader to sort of like scrub through drum sounds. All right, we're going to do left thumb to right thumb. And that's going to be how loud the bass is. All right, with full glitch meter.